Back with us on the Sportsman Zone, we turn our attention to the world of motorsports. Jamaica's 2021 Female Motorsport Athlete of the Year, Sara Misir, has created history, becoming the first woman from the Caribbean to be selected for the final of Formula Woman to be held in the United Kingdom on March 2 and 3. Started in 2004 or 2004. Formula Woman gives women of all ages and from various backgrounds the opportunity to forge a career as a race car driver. The 23-year-old Misir is in special company. She's only one of 50 women from a field of almost 10,000 aspirants. Let me say that again. She's one of 50 from a potential field of 10,000 aspirants. She was among the lucky 50 picked to compete in the final. Now, the winner of Formula Woman will get the opportunity to drive for a McLaren GT team in the 2022 GT Cup Championship. Sara's ambitions are progressive. The Jamaican says she's not there for the ride, you know. She's in it to win it. She joins us in studio. Sara, welcome to the Sportsman Zone.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start here. I understand you are coming to us direct from calling on the Minister of Sport in Jamaica,
yes.
the Honourable Olivia Babsy-Grange. How was that experience? What did she say to you? What did you tell her?
Honestly, I was so overwhelmed with all the emotions that were coming out because she was so supportive. She kept repeating how proud she was of me and how much the country is behind me. And, you know, that's all I've ever wanted, to make Jamaica proud and to represent Jamaica well. And being with her was just, it was absolutely amazing. Yeah,
you are... I've read about your background. You are very much a lover of the rough and tumble. Tell the viewers about some of these sports that you participated in prep school, high school, that led you ultimately to this field of motor racing.
Well, I started off with equestrian. I started when I was 3 years old, and I grew into it. It was something I loved, and of course I went into prep school and high school, and that was my main concern. And going through it, I went into high school and I had so many more sports and so many more clubs to join, and I just couldn't wait. So every week I was playing about 6 different sports, and I was going from football to volleyball.
What position in football?
Goalkeeper.
Okay.
And I was going from all these events to swimming, to tennis, to dancing, and I just loved being active and competitive, from solo sports to team sports. I just loved the whole environment of it. And unfortunately, I had a small accident. I was kicked in the face by a horse here in 2015. And it gave my dad a bit of a scare. My mom was not happy with it either. My dad was never a fan with equestrian, of course, because you're dealing with an animal that's twice your size. You don't speak the same language. You don't control a horse. You kind of agree to do something. And so he got fed up with it after some of the injuries, and he was like, here, let's try a go-kart. And with the because he has a long history in motorsports, so with the go-karting, I tried it and I fell in love with it. It wasn't easy to transfer from horseback riding to go-karting, but it was a passion I definitely endured.
Would you change any of the things that happened now that you're here and you're going to be representing Jamaica at the highest level?
I would not change anything, to be honest, even though there have been traumatic experiences, has been a difficult road, I can promise you that, but I wouldn't change anything because that has led me to where I am today, and I'm proud to be where I am today.
So the competition, the big day is on March 2nd.
And
match
3rd.
Day, yeah. How have preparations been going? You know, where are you, where that is?
Well, I have been preparing as much as I can. I just got back from Italy. I was up in the Alps. I was practicing ice driving, and that was very different. And being in negative 22-degree weather was quite cold, and it was definitely a bit of a challenge just to keep my fingers warm, to keep on the steering wheel. But I've been training in lots of different disciplines. I've been going from rally to ice driving just to get different feels of the car, more car control, more car techniques. And this weekend on Saturday and Sunday I'll be at Dover, and I'll be testing and practicing all day long from sunrise to sunset. So
yeah, this is a sport that, you know, many women have avoided. You know, they refuse to venture into this journey. Do you feel as if your pathway can, you know, influence and inspire other women to do the same in the future?
I hope so. I genuinely hope so, because at Dover, you'll be surprised how many little kids would come up to me and they're like, oh my goodness, I want to race too. And it's amazing to see all these little girls, and they're coming up to me and they're like, oh my God, mommy, like, look. And that's what I want to kind of show, that it doesn't matter where you want to be, as long as you put in the work ethic and you have the determination, you can do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate that your career in the equestrian sport, was cut short. I can tell you that Lance, the gentleman whose seat you occupy, and myself, we love nothing in the world more than horse racing. I love horse racing more than everything else combined. That's the love I have. So there you go. Horse racing has lost something good. And well, equestrianism. Let me ask you though. So being a late entrant to motorsport, how have you shortened the learning curve?
Time. It's just putting in the time. It's putting in the effort. It's putting in the discipline and telling yourself that it doesn't matter how hard it is. I wanted it, and I put in the effort, and I looked for the right coaches. I looked for the right people. I had my dad, who was very lucky, who has a lot of experience in motor racing, that was guiding me as well. But I can promise you it was not easy. There were a lot of days where there were a lot of tears, and there was a lot of wanting to not be there, but with support and the right people you surround yourself with, that's what got me to today.
I mean, clearly your gifts, your sporting talents, prodigious, and I'm sure you won't say so yourself. You're saying so on your behalf. The thing for me is this though. In the sport that you are competing against women who have been in motorsport from they could form cognitive impressions, yeah? And you have come in late and you are advanced beyond many of those who you left back in the pack in the 10,000, the 9,950 who couldn't make it, and you are here. How much internalizing do you do? How much tape do you watch? Who do you watch? What do you read? How do you imagine yourself being that person in control of the motor and leaving everybody else behind?
What I do is I rewatch a lot of my own tapes, and I watch other people who have faster times on the same track, and I put them side by side, and I look exactly where they stop, where I stop, how they change gears, where I change gears, and what they do differently, because I've always found that you can always learn something from someone. And just continuously trying my best to look and listen. Every time I'm around people talking about racing, I listen. It doesn't matter who they are, because you can always learn something. So that's what I do. I always have my ears open. I'm always looking for things to learn, and I'm always researching, looking about cars, trying to learn more about my own car, about other cars that I'll drive, and to know that if the car moves one way, how do I react? Or if I hear something, how do I know what it's moving so I can tell my mechanics and those kinds of things.
Yeah, you've achieved so much already at a young age. What's the long-term plan? Where are you heading?
Well, honestly, because I've entered at such a late age, I'm just trying to go as fast as I can and to take advantage of any opportunities I can. So that is a goal, to just get as far as I can.
Yeah. On the point of pressure, how do you deal with that? And I say that from the perspective of when you read the stories of the greats among the men, and you go back to the legendary late, great Ayrton Senna.
Right.
You talk about Lewis, and you talk about Mick Schumacher and others. They have different ways of dealing with pressure. Some people, it's almost like a dark room. They go and they lay and they try to shut off everything from their mind. Other people need a lot of stimulation. So it's almost like the room that they're in is like a techno music den, and it's blaring, and what do you do? How do you get into the space where only Sara exists?
Honestly, before I start gearing up, I do my stretches, I do my push-ups, I warm up my muscles, and I'm listening to a lot of upbeat music to enjoy myself, because I found that the best way that I perform is when I'm having fun and when I'm not overthinking and over trying to do everything. So I try to have fun, and then once I start gearing up and I start getting in the car, I start to relax and I start to focus, and once the flag goes, that's it.
Yeah. As a woman being a trailblazer, not in a sport that men have, Formula Woman is, as it says, Formula Woman, yeah? You are breaking ground here, you are a flag bearer, you are a torch carrier. How, if at all, does that pride of knowing that you are that person influence what you do, how you train, what you aspire to be?
Honestly, it has made me 10 times happier and pushed myself 10 times harder, because I want to make Jamaica proud, and I want to get it. I want to win. I want to do it well. So it has had such a very good influence, because I want to show people that you know, be a good influence, do the right things, you know. I be careful in terms of what I do, where I go, and I just try my best to be as best as I can.
Let me ask you this now. I'm going back to Lewis Hamilton again. Serial winner, heart of a champion, mind of a champion,
Yes.
the deportment of a champion, generally
Yes.
speaking. But people say, you know, his personality grates, you know, because he's kind of, you know, it's almost kind of cold aloofness in his interpersonal relationships with people. And people pay attention to that. For me, it doesn't matter whether an athlete is nice or not. I want to see the athlete perform. If they kiss babies when they're finished and go to church and pay tithes and take care of the homeless, it doesn't matter to me. What personality would you say you are, and does that differentiate from what people say you are and how they describe you?
I have found growing up that who I think I am and who everyone perceives me as has always been very different. So I've always tried to be someone who is good at school, who does well on sports. I'm very family oriented. But, you know, growing up, you make your mistakes. You do, you know, growing up. So I've always seen that myself competing and daily life are two very different people. And I've also got that comment from a few racers that when they see me at the track, they kind of stay away from me, and I'm a completely different person off the track. So I do believe that someone's personality contributes to their performance, but it does matter what they do when the time comes.
So simply put, Sarah, when competition comes, you're a cold-hearted killer. You have eyes for
Game
nobody
time,
else.
it's game time, showtime. No playing.
That's you.
Yes, yes.
And but you have the switch that you can engage when
Right.
you're not competing.
It's the helmets on,
Yeah.
it's game time. Helmets
There you go.
off.
Well, we wish you all the best. You can
All
do the
the
first
best.
fist bump over there.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, please.
Mariah, you look surprised. Yeah, all the very best.
I'm
to
like,
you.
where is he going?
You need speed, Sarah, and you know where to get it from. You know how to generate it, and let's hope that at all times your temperament. Well, let's use another word, Mariah. Let's say her equanimity, evenness of mind, and temper will always be intact
Just
as
win.
she
Good luck.
navigates. Yeah, there you go. Yeah? Simple terms. That's it for this segment. We'll be back. Sara Misir, Jamaican Formula woman, 1 of 50, March 2 and 3, the UK. She says she's not there for the consolation prizes. She has her eyes on number 1.